Hey everyone, William Tramp, also known as This F and GM here, ready to talk to you about the new Artificer playtest. So I was sitting down, I was about to make a new video for Want to Be a Better Dungeon Master? House Rules. But I got a notification on my phone because I have zero ability to turn my phone off because I never think about it. And I saw that that Wizard of the Coast has just dropped a playtest version of the 2024 Artificer for 5th edition. And I'm really excited about that. I've been a huge fan of the Artificer class for many, many years. I was there when Eberron first came out for 3rd edition, and that's where they created the Artificer class for the game. At the time, the Artificer was designed to interplay with the subset of rules, the crafting system, specifically, that 3rd edition had set up. This isn't something we really have much of in 5th edition. Crafting is a little bit more hand-waved as to how it works. It's not nearly as nitty-gritty, but at the time, it was a very robust system, and as a result, having an entire class dedicated to navigating the crafting rule system was really, really cool. Plus, it really fit in with the lore of Eberron. So in 5th edition, we see the Artificer reprinted again for 2024 or for 2014 in Eberron Rising from the Last War, which makes sense because it's a core Eberron class. But we also see it hit the core rules in the Tasha's Cauldron of 2024 playtesting. I'm sorry, Cauldron of Everything, I guess that's what we're calling it. But we see it reprinted here, and we've seen the Artificer hit many tables in my own games, whether they be Eberron or not, and I've heard a ton of people who talk about playing the class and they really enjoyed it. So I thought it might be fun to abandon the video I was going to work on and instead kind of take a look real quick at some differences between the new Artificer that's been being presented in the playtest and the Artificer that we see in Tasha's. So I figured I'd go line by line through and just give some quick thoughts. I am not a major optimizer. This is not a video about what exactly the math is going to be when looking at the two classes. It's really just going to take a look at the differences and some gut reactions that I might have. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Why don't we? I've got it pulled up here on the screen. We've got the Unearthed Arcana 2024. You can get it over on D&D Beyond and download that for free. And we're going to take a look and see what's going on here. So let's see. First, we get your standard playtest material explanation. Hey, this may not be the same when it gets printed later. We're looking for feedback. It may be more powerful, it may be less powerful. So they're soliciting our feedback and trying to make sure that the official version of the 2024 Artificer that comes out will be something we want to see, which of course raises a question, where are we going to see it? Is this going to be in like a Player's Handbook 2 that gets released? Is this going to be in a new Eberron book? That's traditionally where we put the Artificer, and for any new edition. Not sure. It doesn't give us that information here, I don't believe. Nope. Okay, so what's inside? Artificer is the star of the show. We're going to get a new spell and a collection of magic items to enhance the options available to Artificers. Okay, sure, yeah, why not? All right, so we go to the Artificer class. We've got Masters of Invention. Artificers use ingenuity and magic to unlock the extraordinary capabilities and objects. Magic is a complex system waiting to be decoded and then harnessed in their spells and inventions. Okay, sure, that's basically the standard Artificer. There's no difference really to the fiction. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the core Artificer traits, and I'm going to compare this to what we have for Tasha's. Let's see. Primary ability score is intelligence. That's not necessarily called out in the old books, but right now they're calling out the primary ability, which makes sense. That's usually kind of hidden in a little paragraph there. But yeah, okay, intelligence same as before. Hit dice is a D8. Yep, that makes sense. Saving throw proficiencies are Constitution Intelligence. That's the same. Skill proficiencies, choose 2. Yep, okay, it's still choose 2. So what do we got? Arcana History, Investigation, Medicine, Nature, Perception, or Sleight of Hand. Okay, there's no changes there. Tools. Let's see, or weapon proficiencies, I guess. We've got simple weapons, no change there. Tool proficiencies, thieves tools, tinker tools, and one type of artisan tools. Thieves tools, one type. Yep, that's the same there. Armor training, we go light, medium, and shields. No difference there. All right, and then your starting equipment. I don't really care if they changed the starting equipment, but let's just see if they did. Let's see. Studded leather armor, dagger, thieves tools, tinker tools. Yeah, they did change that, although that's pretty on par. Where you just get one package or money. That's it. I'm actually perfectly fine with that because I don't see much of a reason to give too many examples of that. Just let people spend their money or, give them the quick, easy package. Sure, why not? Okay. All right, becoming an Artificer as a level 1 character, gain all the traits of the core Artificer table. Yep, that's about right. Gain Artificer's level 1 features, blah, blah, blah. As a multi-class character, ooh, multi-classes. Let's see here. We've got gain the following traits from the Artificer: hit point die, proficiency in one skill of your choice from the Artificer skill list, training in light, medium armor, and shields. Okay, that's nice. And then you gain level 1 abilities. What am I seeing here? Anything different? Thieves' Tools and Tinker Tools. Oh, you don't get Thieves' Tool proficiency automatically anymore with multi-class, so that's an interesting change. All right, and then let's see. Hold on, it's kind of making my page a little wonky here. Yeah. Oh, and they have removed the intelligence requirement, so you no longer need an intelligence of 13 to get into the class. So we've lost some. We've gained easier access to multi-class, but we've lost a tool proficiency within that. Although, did we gain skills? Yeah, it looks like we gained a skill proficiency. That proficiency in one skill of your choice from the Artificer skill. So that's pretty nice. So that's a nice trait. Yeah, okay. I'll take a skill proficiency rather than a tool proficiency. Sure. Okay. And then multi-class for spells. It's half the available level. Yeah. Okay. That's about right. Okay, let's see. Class features. As an Artificer, you gain the following class features. All right, design note, Artificer updates. So here are the main updates. This is what we're really going to be looking at. Magical tinkering now allows the Artificer to craft low-cost items quickly. Great, okay. Spellcasting now allows the Artificer to change one cantrip after each long rest. Great, that makes a lot of sense, actually, to me. Infused item is redesigned and renamed to replicate magical item. This feature allows the Artificer to replicate any magic item of a qualifying rarity and item type. Ooh, okay, that's going to be interesting, because what this means is that this may mean that we effectively are saying, kind of like what happened with the Druid, right, where the old Druid was, wild shape would basically be carte blanche for a player to look through the monster manual, right? I'm wondering if this will have a sort of similar effect where players are, pouring through the Dungeon Master's Guide for items. I know D&D Beyond exists, but if we're talking about books of the table, then okay. We'll see how that looks. Magic Item Tinker replaces tool expertise and lets you turn a magic item into a spell slot. That's okay. That's cool. Flash for Genius, now used in response to an ability check or saving throw failing. Okay. Spellslinger item has been changed to include level 3 Artificer spells. Great. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like it's going to be a power jump. Soul of Artificer no longer requires a reaction to cheat death and restores you to 20 hit points instead of 1. Okay. Yeah. Those pop back up after being killed. Just bring you to 1 is just asking for enemy to burn their action to immediately take you down again. So I'm all about the extra hit points there. Okay. As a magic action while holding Tinker's Tools, so magical tinkering, this does have a change. So as a magical action while holding Tinker's Tools, you can create one item in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of yourself, choosing an item from the following list. We got a whole list of items here. Many of these are very useful for like dungeon delving and exploration. Crowbars and sacks and shovels and vials. Anything that really surprised me. Oil is interesting. Okay, oil is kind of an interesting thing. It's hope they don't ever need oil to if we think about the Artificer of the modern world. It's like, I think just create oil. The one of the most desired things on our planet. That's fun. See the rules for the Empire's Handbook. It vanishes after 1 hour. So basically, it's the Conjurer, the Conjurer Wizard, but level 1. Uses feature number times equal to your intelligence for. Okay, so they'll limit it, and you gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. All right, so let's see what the old way was. So magical tinkering. This is a much more expanded list. So the old way, the old Artificer, you could create like a tiny little light, like basically a candle. You could create an item that created a recorded message, something that emitted an odor, or something that creates a visual static effect. So I kind of what we are seeing here right now, right off the bat, is the magical tinkering ability has become more intrinsically useful in terms of a wide array of items that you can use, and you don't really have to come up with creative ways to use it beyond what you already would have had you had the item in hand. So we lose some of the fantastical elements, like the ability to create a spell, right? Or the ability to create a recorded message. But what we gain is a very utilitarian ability here. For some tables, this may not pop up as much. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a lot of people creating pouches, but on the other hand, I can tell you that having extra oil or having extra torches in my campaigns is going to be really darn useful. So that's great. I actually really like that ability. Okay, so spell casting. You've learned how to channel magical energy through objects. See the brain channel for rules and spell casting. I'm not going to do that. Produce Artificer spells through tools. You can use these tools, tools, or another type of artisan tools for whichever proficiency as a spellcasting focus. Must have one of these focuses in hand when you cast an Artificer spell, meaning the spell has an M component when you cast it. Okay, so yeah, that's basically saying that if you want to cast any Artificer spell, all Artificer spells have a material component, it requires a spell casting implement. Okay, interesting. 2 Artificer cantrips of your choice. Acid Splash Prejudice are recommended. Okay, sure. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one of your cantrips from this feature with another Artificer cantrip. That's new. That's cool. I love the ability to switch out the cantrips. I think that can really help. Cantrips have always been kind of an issue with me. Number one, because you're kind of locked in forever, or at least in the original 2014 D&D, you would have to be locked in your cantrip forever. And I'm not opposed to players making choices and having to stick with them, but it's cantrips. It's, I don't know, why not just let them swap out every now and then? Plus, also when brand new books come out, and Lord knows we're going to see more 2024 books come out. You have players coming to you and begging you, hey, can I please swap out one of my cantrips for one of these? Now the game just has it built in. Yes, you can. You have to take a long rest though. Okay, great, sure, perfectly happy with that. All right, how many spell slots you gain to cast your level 1+ spells? Okay, the cast your level 1+ spells. 1+ spells, not 1+ spells. It's your level 1+ spells. Okay, got it. Long rest, recovery, sure. Prepared spells. Okay, so we're going to the prepared spell phrasing here. Choose 2 level 1 Artificer spells. So this is a change. At least across the board has been rather than adding your intelligence modifier or spellcasting ability modifier to how many you prepare. It's kind of a set number here. Number of spells increase as you gain artificial levels. Okay, so that's pretty standard stuff. Make your prepared spells from any combination. Okay, so we are ranging anywhere from 2 prepared spells all the way up to 15, assuming no other abilities grant you more. Cantrips don't count against that. Another artificial spells you already prepared. You don't count those against the numbers. Yep. Changing prepared spells whenever you use from strong rest. You can change your list of prepared spells. Okay. So they retain their ability to be versatile each different day. We always kind of assume that when you're an artificer, you're not casting spells. You are making new items, kind of retrofitting items to produce a new magical effect. So constantly tinkering. I love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what the original has. 2 cantrips of choice. So you still get the same amount of cantrips at lower levels. That's great. As we go through cantrips all the way to the end, you still end up only with 4. Okay, so there's no change there. Is there any change in the amount known as time goes on? Hit level 3, hit 3 at level 10. Okay, and then hit 4 at level 14. Okay, so there's no difference in the amount of cantrips but you get a huge boon in being able to swap one out on a daily basis. So you're still going to be able to really test out a lot of what the Artificer has to offer. So that's great. By the way, I will say Artificer and Artificer every now and then. That's just kind of how I function. Okay, prepared spells. Prepared spells is definitely different. It used to be that would be your intelligence modifier plus half your Artificer levels. So the max would ever get to would be 15, assuming you didn't have some sort of magical boon or special ability to bump your intelligence above 20. Half your level at 20 is 10 plus the 5 maximum intelligence. So this equals to be about the same. What I fully expect to hear is that at low levels, they'll have less amount of spells prepared, although the spell slots haven't changed at all, so that should be fine. But I don't believe it's changed. Yeah, it seems to be about the same. But we will see that they'll have less versatility at lower levels, so that's kind of a net loss. You know, a lot of artificers may begin with like a 16 or 17 intelligence, and so instead of having 3 prepared at level 1, they will have 2 prepared at level 1. So okay, there's a little bit of a loss of utility there, but we will see things kind of rise a little quicker, perhaps. Well, I'm not sure how much people care about that, but just something interesting to note. Okay, and you can still change your list. Let's see, change your list. Used to be that to prepare the spells, you would need to spend at least 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. That is no longer represented. The rules just take a long rest. Okay, so the one thing I don't like about that, actually, and that's kind of an interesting little change, but it's something that actually means a lot to me, and I'm just double checking that's the correct. One tactic I recommend my players do is to leave some of their prepared options like blank. Leave it blank. Like, hey, if you can prepare a total of 5 separate spells in a given day, maybe only prepare 3 or 4, ones that you really think you're going to need, and then leave a couple of blank slots off to the side, and then maybe during a short rest, you spend that tinkering time to prepare the remaining slots. So this makes your Artificer and Wizards, I have my Wizards do this too, become a lot more versatile middle of the day, but they have to sacrifice the early day utility. According to the rules, at least now, that is not possible. So that is going to be very likely a house rule that I immediately toss in if I were to take this as written at my table, because I just think it's kind of a fun little thing to let them do. Okay, let's take a look now at level 2. So let's see first. Proficiency bonuses are going to remain the same. Plans, okay, that is that looks like plans replaces infusions known, infused items, and magic items. Okay, that's been renamed. So all of this cantrips and spell slots seem to be the same. Prepared spells, magic items, and plans known seem to be the same. Magical tinker and spellcasting, replicate magic item. We already know that infused item and replicate magic item have been replaced. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay. You have learned arcane plans that you use to make magic items. So when you gain this feature, choose 4 plans from the table. Give some recommendations. Whenever you gain an artificial level, you can replace one of the plans you know with a new plan for which you qualify. So these are the like semi-permanent items that you're creating to hand out or to keep for yourself to like really customize your character or to customize the party. You learn another plan of choice when you reach certain artificial levels, as shown in the plans known column. So let's first take a look and see if the amount of plans has changed. We go from 4 to 8 in the original. We go from 4 to 12. Okay, so we lose a total of 4, assuming that infusions known and plans known are basically equivalent. We have a net loss of 4 across the board. So that, if it turns out to be like basically the same ability overall, that might be a huge loss at higher levels. Okay, well, that's interesting. So let's take a look. Plans known, creating an item. When you finish a long rest, you may create 1 or 2 different magical items. If you have Tinker Tools in hand, okay, so you have to use Tinker Tools. Each item is based on the amount of plans you know. It's so interesting to me that they choose Tinker Tools, right? Like, is that really kind of Tinker Tools are kind of used for a specific thing? In this fiction, they're kind of saying that artificers have to use Tinker Tools to make anything. So if you make like a wooden staff as your magic item, it's got to be Tinker Tools. I'm sure many DMs will allow them to swap that out, but that's interesting. If a created item requires attunement, you can attune to yourself the instant you create it. Okay, that's nice. If you decide to attune to the item later, you must use the normal process, okay? If you reach certain artificial levels, specified in the magic item column, so the number of magic items you can create at the end of the long rest increases. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is tied in. So you have the plans known and then the magic items, right? Okay, that's interesting. So magic items has seemed to replace infused items. So okay, so the amount of magic items you can have. Hold on, let me reread that. I think I misunderstood. After you create number of magic items. Okay, so the plans and the infused items aren't exactly the same. So you can create more magic items, but okay, that's interesting. When you reach certain rituals, create an item. Okay, this has always been a little bit wonky in my head. Magic item created by this feature from the attack with the only magic items for its magic is permanent. When you die, the magic item vanishes after 1d4 days. Okay, that's interesting. And that you create with this feature is a container switchback holding, and it vanishes. Its contents harmlessly appear in and around its space. I love that they kind of toss out a specific instance of how this might work, but then we're going to have like a ton of. They answer one question and probably many potential magic items in the future. So, okay, let me see something here. Okay, and then we have this list of the different magic item plans you can have. So here's my question. You end up knowing more plans than the items you can create. So, okay. So what we're saying here then, and is that the same? I believe that might be the same as it used to be. My knowledge of things can be kind of silly. So if you look at the old way, you infuse items with certain abilities. Once you reach certain levels, you can have then a number of infused items. Okay, so the number of items you can create is the same, but the versatility of the items that you can create are less. So you lose versatility, but you maintain power level, I guess. Okay, so it seems basically about the same, except for that we've gone down to 8 for the total different plans versus 12. So I'm wondering if, honestly, I wonder if subclasses are going to supplement that. Oh, well, we'll see. Okay, so look, it no longer says you have to touch the item to infuse it. I guess that did say. I think you used to say that, right? Yeah. Yeah, it says you have to touch it, whereas now you just create it. You have to get the tools in hand, but I just created it over there, right? No, that's silly. I can see why they removed that because it probably wasn't necessary. Okay. Let's take a look at the plans real quick. What do we got for plans? Gonna go all the way to the back of the book. So plans have been replaced. So that's my. Okay. So you got the old plans included all these kind of like special different items or things that like were not specific magic items, but absolutely were specific magic items. Like enhanced weapon gives you a +1. Magic weapon that grants +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with it. So it was a +1 weapon. Okay, so so it looks like the entire list has been just replaced with the replicable items portion, right? So let me see here. Am I seeing anything here that doesn't involve? If you gain this feature, choose 4 plans from the magic item plans table. Okay, so we have basically replaced all the different options, and some of them being Artificer exclusive, specifically with replicable items. So now I'm curious. They mentioned that there's going to be new magic items in the book, so I bet you we're going to see some of those very specific Artificer only abilities. Turned into just magic items. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yep. Uncommon. Oh, that's nice. They kind of these entries, the common, uncommon. It future proofs it, right? You can now just make these things. So, for instance, by level 14, rather than having a very set list of what you can create, it instead just says any rare armor, ring, wand, or weapon, or one-verse item that isn't cursed. So you cannot create a cursed item to hand off to people. That's funny. Okay. All right, that's me interesting. I'm curious. I'm gonna reserve judgment on that. I mean, I don't love the idea of losing a bunch of Artificer-specific things, but I'm curious to see if they made enough new magic items to cover what didn't exist before. What that does mean, though, is that if you're using the crafting rules, we're going to hold off. I'm going to hold off and give my thoughts on that until later. Okay, subclass level 3, that is the same for Artificer in general. What do we got? Alchemist, Armor, Artillerist, and Battlesmith subclasses. Okay, so that's not going to be a change really at all for anyone. Level 3 is when that turns online. What else do we get level 3? The right tool for the job. Now it's called right tool for the job rather than the right tool for the job. They changed it. Okay, let's see here. Right tool for the job. The list of items you can create with magical tinkering now includes artisan tools, which are described in the buyer's handbook. Okay. Oh, you can create artisan tools. Okay, so what is this? What is the original one? Bop, 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 bop. Fusing an item, you learn to produce exactly the tool you need. So it used to be, oh yeah, let's see, you used to need an hour to create it. They would last until you use the feature again. Now they take take an action to create, but they only last for an hour. I don't think this could really upset anyone, that change, although it does draw from the same pool of how many times you can do it. So there might be one or two people out there who are like, but I really liked creating my items, and I also like this separate ability, but now it just sort of combines them into one. So all drawing from the same pool. I think it's going to be a lot less resource tracking in the end, because it's all just under the same one. I'm fine with that. Abilities for improvement, that's the same. Okay, yeah, good feat. Okay, sure. And feats are now much more, are very different, so that'll definitely change how the artificer functions. Okay, let's talk about magic item Tinker, level 6 ability. This replaces tool expertise. Okay, all right. So let's see. Replicate magic item feature improves as follows. As a bonus action, you can touch a magic item within 5 feet of yourself that you created with replicate magic item and cause it to vanish. You can basically absorb all the power back from it, converting its mystical energy into a spell slot. Okay, so you can now get extra spell slots if you need them by losing some of those items, right? So if you create something that you think may not be super useful, you can burn away. Okay, hey, that's kind of that utility I was talking about there, right? Where I said, like, leave a spell slot blank. Okay, so it's kind of built in. So this is level 1 if the item is common, level 2 if the item is uncommon or rare. Okay, okay, all right. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. And the spell slot you create with this feature vanishes when you finish a long rest. Okay, sure. And then when you learn a plan for your replicate magic item feature, you can now choose from the magic item plans Artificer 6 or higher. Okay, I don't know why that's not just part of the original ability. Like, why do we need to add this as a rider to a level 6 ability? I don't know, whatever. It's fine. I guess it's to make sure that people don't get the level dip for, to grab that and then say, why don't I get my 6+ if I don't have 6+ artificial? What kind of, I guess, remove some of that argument. What I'm doing here real quick, I want to check something. Plans known. Whenever you gain artificial, you can replace one of the plans. Okay, I'd forgotten if I had read that or not. So you can replace plans that you got previously. Was that something that you could do before? Could you change out infusions that you gained? It's just... Yeah, okay, that's no different. All right, Flash of Genius. I'm sorry, let me tell you about the level 6 ability that you used to get. You used to get proficiency bonus and not double for any ability check that you make that uses your proficiency with the tool. This is much better. Here's why I think it's better. In most games I've ever seen, item rolls, other than thieves' tools, like proficiency rolls for tools are just so rare that this was just kind of a rider, like kind of a little fluff ability. This has some mechanical usefulness. Maybe the one artificer out there that's supplementing as the group's rogue might not love this as much because losing some proficiency on these tools, but I think this is better. Personally, it really leans more into the magic side of the artificer rather than into the tool side. So, okay, that's going to be interesting. So, getting more spell slots at the cost. All right, Flash of Genius. When you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you fails an ability check or saving throw, you can take a reaction to add a bonus to the roll, potentially causing it to succeed. So add your intelligence modifier to a roll, reaction number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, gaining experience use when you finish a long rest. Okay. That's true because so many times we're seeing abilities that key off of proficiency bonus, and this one's keying off of intelligence modifier. I'm sure there's plenty of others. I just thought of that. What is the old way? The old way. This says fails an ability check or saving throw. It used to be fails an ability check or saving throw. Oh, they should have changed that to test, right? Ability test, right? Or sorry, that's the same. Within 30 feet of you makes it. It used to be, you take a reaction to add your intelligence modifier. What's different? Reaction number of times equal to intelligence modifier, okay. There's no difference here. It seems to be the exact same ability. So what is... I thought it said it changed something. Was I wrong? Flash of Genius is now used in response to an ability check or saving throw failing, whereas it used to be... Oh, that's the difference. It's specifically if it fails. So old Washington user says you can add it, which means that some people might end up accidentally adding it to a roll that's already succeeded, right? This one clarifies the language, so you wait to know until the person has failed, and then you can add it as a plus whatever afterwards. Okay, yeah, that's a quality of life improvement. The wording there just kind of will eliminate some headaches at the table. Okay, totally fine with that. That's I guess it makes it more powerful, I guess, in some ways, but I think in practice it'll be the exact same as it's always been. Magic item adept. Okay. Let's see here. You profound understanding of how to use and make magic items, granting you the following benefits. You can tune up to 4 magic items at once rather than 3. Cool. And then you learn a plan to replicate future you now get access to the level 10 table. Okay, great. Old way. Old way. Oh, this is interesting. The old magic item adept used to give you the 4 magic items at once. Cool. But then it actually used to make crafting as a downtime activity take less time and less money. So this is an interesting change, because what this means is that what I'm seeing here right now is that the Artificer, when it comes to downtime activities, which I guess there may not be any downtime activities in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I think it's all just based all around that base shin, which basically gives you downtime, right? I think that's it. So if you are using downtime, according to this, if you're still using downtime, Artificers now gain no special benefit for downtime activities. I'm also not seeing anything here that seems to imply making the base shin work differently. So it looks like they're completely, at least for right now, they're divorcing the Artificer's abilities from any outside of the Adventuring Day subsystem. And I don't particularly love that, actually. That was one of my favorite parts about the 3rd edition Artificer, is that it asked players to interact with a subsystem that wasn't just the combat, right? And also asked DMs to play with that subsystem. I love classes and abilities that ask people to look beyond just the combat, explore, and social. I love things that require you to look outside of it, but also gives you advantages in that situation. This reminds me a lot of the 4th edition Artificer, which was very much this character makes items for the moment. They have really no bearing on the outside of it. So that's a little sad to see. I mean, it's better in terms of how most people play their 5th edition games. Actually, it's not better. It's just as you get access to this list. Okay, never mind. I actually see that as a loss. I kind of see it as a loss of a playstyle. That's kind of sad. Okay, well, let's see the next. Spell storing item. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one simple or martial weapon or one item that you can use as spellcasting ability. You can store a spell in it. Choosing level 1, 2, or 3 Artificer that has a cast time of an action. You don't have to have the spell prepared. Ooh! While holding the object, creature can take an action to produce a creature. Anybody can take an action to produce the spell's effect from it using your spellcasting modifier. Spell requires concentration. Concentrates. The object spell stays in the object until it's been used a number of times for equal to twice your intelligence modifier. Again, moving away from that proficiency, using specifically intelligence, which is fine. It's just it's weird. Sometimes they choose proficiency, sometimes they choose spellcasting ability or primary ability, or to use this feature to source spell another object. Okay, great. Old way. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one simpler martial weapon. Or spellcast focus, so that's the same, 1 or 2. So we did get the extra level 3. You need to have a great a creature. Yeah. So this is they said it out loud, right? The exact change is level 3 spells. Okay. That's great. That's cool. So you want to give your players your rogue wants to scout ahead, but you don't want to go with them. Here's a invisible cloaking shield. I was going to say cloak, but I said cloaking, so I said shield instead. Never mind. Ignore what I'm trying to say here. I think you get what I mean. Spell storing item. So okay, slight change, but we get it. All right, magic item savant level 14. You can tune up to 5 rather than 3. Okay, that's great. When you learn plan, you can now get the big table. You can have no more than 3 rare items created by replicate magic at a time. Okay, so that is there's a restriction there. What was the old level 14 ability magic item spot? 5. You used to be able to ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements on the tuning you're using a magic item. I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay that we got rid of that because I didn't see it pop up almost ever. That's very campaign specific. I feel that that has a very campaign specific ability kind of turned into a nothing burger for most Artificers. While you don't gain anything here, you lose something that doesn't really mean much other than for like specific home games. Now, that loss could be devastating to some, but overall, we're not seeing much of a issue. Level 18 lets you do 6 magic items rather than the 3. I'm actually surprised that level 18, Magic Item Master, doesn't also give you some sort of expanded replication or the ability to maybe ignore this requirement of 3 rare items. That's interesting. That doesn't do that. What do we use to get level 18? 6 items at once. So there's literally no change here. Okay, great. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the capstone. Capstone. Nope. Sorry. Epic Boon, level 19. Same across the board. So great. You know, Epic Boon. Okay. So net gain. Level 20 capstone. You have developed a mystical connection to your magic items. You can draw them for aid. You gain the following benefits. Cheat death. If you reduce 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can disintegrate 1 common or rare magic item created by your replicated magic item feature, changing your hit points to 20 instead of 0. Oh, okay. So you burn one of your items and for hit points. Okay, great. Burn one of the items that you've created. Specifically through replicate magic item feature, should we do something on downtime? You can't destroy that. But the replicate one you can. Okay, sure. So, basically up to 6 times per day. Okay, while you have a 2 material, at least 1 magic item, you add 1d6 to any ability check you make. Wow. Okay, you can decide to add the die after one of the d20, and you can use them if only once per turn. What was the old way? Plus 1 bonus all saving throws to a magic item per magic item you're currently attuned to. Okay, so that may be looked at as a massive power drain. Because right now in this new one, you are going to say you get a d6 to 1 roll you make, 1 test you make here, specifically ability check. I forgot, does that include saving throws? Because earlier they said saving throws and ability checks are different, right? Hold on. Maybe I should look at the 5th edition rules here. The new 5th edition rules. Flash from genius. Ability check or a saving throw, so they clearly imply that there's a difference between the two. So you lose that massive saving throw bonus. Again, level 20 isn't something that a lot of people get to, but for those of you who are looking at just straight up power level on the capstone, wow, yeah, that is down, because that used to be, you basically equal out to a +6 to all saving throws, which is really strong, to be fair, really strong. Okay, and then, but this come back to life feature is, for the most part, better, assuming you're not fighting a creature that, fighting something that can deal, 21 plus damage on every swing, right? Or 20 plus damage on every swing. That might be, cheat death may be better in many cases. Okay. All right, that is the class feature difference. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the spell list. I imagine what we're going to basically see here is just a combination of kind of what we've been seeing before, Tasha's, Xanathars, and such. The new spell, we're going to see new spells in here that weren't in the original Player's Handbook, but to be fair, we saw this class in Tasha's Call and everything, which included Xanathar spells and Tasha spells. So my guess is we're not going to see much of a change here. Okay, well, we lose Booming Blade, but we knew that wasn't around, so they didn't recreate Booming Blade. Create Bonfire that was gone in favor of Elementalism, or at least hasn't been recreated. Don't get there. Elementalism, sure. Firebolt, Guidance, Light, Mage Hand. We lose, we don't see Lightning Lure or Frostbite, but again, those weren't recreated in the book. Okay. Light, Mage Hand, Mending. So they've lost some items on the spell, but those spells have not been recreated yet. So why would they be on this list? Okay, great. Message, Poison Spray, Prestidigitation, Ray of Frost, Resistance, Shocking Grasp, Spare the Dying, Thorn Whip, Thunderclap, and they gain True Strike. Okay, that's cool. True Strike is now much better, so hey, there's a gain. You gain True Strike. Okay, awesome. Level 1 Artificer spell. So we got Absorb Elements hasn't been recreated. Alarm, yes. Alarm, sorry. Catapult, not recreated. So Cure Wounds, Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Expeditious Retreat, Fairy Fire, False Life, Featherfall, Grease, Identify, Jump, Launch Rider, Purify, Drake, and Sanctuary, and then Snare and Tasha's Caustic Brew have not been recreated. So, okay, that's no real major change there. Level 2, Aid, Alter Self. I know this is so exciting to watch me go through this, right? Aid, Alter Self, Arcane Lock. Arcane Vigor, that's a new spell, so we got a new spell there. That's a new spell that's added in 2024. Blur, Continual Flame, Dark Vision, Dragon's Breath, another new spell added. Enhanced Ability, Enlarge, Reduce, Heat Metal. Homunculus Spell, new spell in this text, so that's great. We lose No, we didn't lose anything. I'm sorry. I was about to say we lose Lesser Restoration, and I realized alphabetically you're not there yet, Will. Okay, so invisibility, yes. Lesser Restoration, yes, that's still there. Levitate, Magic Mouth, Magic Weapon, Protection from Poison, Pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics wasn't recreated yet, so. Rope Trick, See Invisibility, Spider Climb, and Web. Okay, so we got some new spells that were added into the 2024 Player's Handbook, and now we see them with the Artificer for the Dragon Breath and the Arcane Vigor. That's great. Artificer spells. Let's see. Blink, Cannon wasn't recreated. Create, Food and Water, Dispel Magic, Elemental Weapon, Fly. Yep, okay. Glyph of Warding, Haste, Protection from Energy, Revivify, Water Breathing, and Water Walk. Okay, so nothing really new there, just some spells that weren't recreated aren't on this list right now. And then level 4, Arcane Eye, helps me up there. Fabricate, yep, Freedom of Movement, Lemon's Secret Chest, Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum, Resilient Sphere, Stone Shape, Stone Skin, Summon Construct. Okay, great, that's same. Then finally we get Ambient Objects, Bigby's Hand, Circle of Power. Oh, that's new. Okay, so now Artificers get access to Circle of Power. Circle of Power, a brand new spell? Dang it, see, I could just be misremembering that. And that, my brain wants to say, that's always been a spell. Maybe it hasn't, maybe that's new. Okay, Creation, Greater Restoration, and Wall of Stone. We don't get Transmute, Rock, or Skull Empowerment, but again, those spells just weren't recreated. So, okay, so some differences to the spell list. Mainly some added ins. We'll have to see if those spells that were omitted ever get recreated, but other than just not added in there because it doesn't exist yet, pretty much the same. Okay, great. All right, awesome. Next, we are looking at the subclasses. I'm going to take a quick break here because there's a lot. Okay, and we are back. I'm going to go ahead and start taking a look at subclasses. All right, so how many subclasses do we get all of them recreated? Real fast armor. I like the armorers. Now one of them, artillerist and okay, yeah. Wow. Okay, there's a lot. All right, alchemist. Alchemist used to kind of suck, right? Maybe not, but like the sticker hearing people say is kind of the weakest option. Let's see what's changed. Let's see if it's different. Okay. Strange and Fetch. She's there. Okay. Updates. Let's see. Main update to the subclass since it appears in Polish content and everything. Alchemist spells replace Blight with Vitriolic Spear. Okay, that actually makes sense because Blight seemed like a very specific type of artificer. Like, I'm going to pollute the world, right? And Vitriolic Spear has kind of a nicer bent to it, right? Tool Printing now allows the artificer to craft potions faster. Great. Experimental elixir now produces more elixirs. The healing of the healing elixir has increased, and the 6th row of the table now allows you to choose an elixir's effect. Okay, great. Restorative Agents has been changed to connect the temporary hit points to your level. Okay. And Chemical Mastery has been redesigned. It now includes extra damage resistance and the ability to cast Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron. Okay, well, is it the OG Artificer spell? I guess if we were to think of this in terms of history rather than when that spell was actually created. So, all right. So let's see. Tool Proficiency, you gain proficiency with alchemist supplies. If you already have this proficiency, you gain proficiency with one other type of artisan tools of your choice. In addition, when you brew a potion using the crafting rules, oh, there we go. Okay, so we are interplaying with the rules. Good. It's by subclass now. Okay. When you brew a potion using the crafting rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide, the amount of time required to craft is halved. Okay, so not the price, but the amount of time at least is halved. The old ability was just you gain the proficiency or gain another proficiency. Okay, so I have to walk back a statement I made before. Rather than giving the artificers the overall ability to craft everything at half the, at reduced cost and price, what it's now saying is it's specific to the type of artificer you are. Okay, I can get behind that. I mean, that is less power in terms of, you don't change the money and you don't change, and you lose a lot of versatility, but it adds to the flavor. So I get that. Okay, and you get it way sooner. Okay, so I can definitely get behind the way sooner aspect. So I think that's a fair enough trade. So you can start, living that fantasy long before you would have, which was level 10. So most artificers never were going to have reduced anything, and now, okay, all right, that's fair. Spells, you gain extra spells. Okay, so let's see. Healing Word, Ray of Sickness, same thing. Flying Sphere, Melts Acid Arrow. Gaseous Form, Mass Healing Word, Blight, that has been replaced with the Jog Spear, great, and Death Ward, okay, and Cloud Kill and Raise Dead. Okay, good. When you finish a long rest while holding active with supplies, you can use that tool to magically produce 2 elixirs. For each elixir, roll in the experimental elixir for the elixir's effects, which is triggered when someone drinks the elixir. When an elixir appears in a vial, the vial vanishes when the elixir is drunk or poured out. If any elixir remains when you finish a long rest, the elixir and its vial vanish. Okay. That is, let's see here. So this every long rest. As the same before. There's 2 elixirs. The old way said you can create an elixir. Now you can create 2 elixir. And you used to have the ability to remove spell slots to create one. Let's see here. It's a bonus action. You can drink or administer it to another creature within 5 feet of yourself. Okay, great. My general rule is bonus action to drink your own potion, action to administer it to someone else. So in my campaign, that would be a boost. Creating additional, you can still burn spell slots to create them, and then when you do so, you can choose the effect rather than rolling. Yeah, that's the same. Reach certain Artificer, you can make an additional elixir at the end of each long rest. 3 at level 5, 4 at level 9, 5 at level 15. Ooh, they've changed that. Okay. They have changed. Yeah, that is a change, but it's way better than it was before. So it used to be, back in the old day, you could create 1 experimental elixir without spending spell slots, then 2 at 6th level, then 3 at 15th level, whereas now you can get all the way up to 5 at 15th. So you're going to get more. So that's great. Let's see the experimental elixir. The healing got better. They are now 2d8 rather than 2d4, which makes sense when we look at the new kind of cure spell changes, so that's good. Swiftness, walking speed increases by 10 feet for 1 hour. That's the same. Bonus to AC for 1 hour or 10 minutes. Ooh, no, that's the same. That's the same. I apologize, misreading it. Boldness, roll 1d4 and add the number rolled to every attack roll and something that they make for the next minute. Okay, yeah, that was great. That was a good one. Flying speed 10 for 10 minutes. It's probably not great in combat, but great in exploration. And then transformation. Alter self for 10 minutes, and now it's that's different. Okay, they got rid of transformation, so the alter self one is gone, and instead you just get on a roll of 6, you just get to choose instead. Okay. Let's see here. Basically they've lost the ability to breathe underwater. Looks like. Yeah. Okay. That's sad a little bit. Okay. Level 5, whenever you cast a spell using your Artificer, your Alchemist supplies, the spell can focus, you get a bonus to 1 roll of the spell. That roll must restore hit points or be a damage roll that deals acid, fire, necrotic, or poison, and equals your intelligence modifier. Okay. Versus before, where it was to 1 roll the spell, hit points or damage roll, fire, acid, fire, necrotic, or poison. That's the same. Okay, yeah, that ability is the same. There's no difference that I can see. Okay, let's go to level 9. You can incorporate restorative regions to some of your works, gain the following benefits: Fortify, Restore. Well, I named them. They weren't named before, but now they are named. Let's see here. Let me scroll down so you can see properly. Nope. Whoops. Okay, great. Whenever a creature drinks an elixir that you created with experimental elixir, they gain temporary points to your intelligence modifier plus your Artificer level, whereas it used to be just 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier. So, okay, great. That means that, let's see. So the average would have been before probably that 6 or 7 plus your intelligence modifier. You gain this ability at level 9, so you're going to end up getting probably more temporary hit points. Not a lot more, but as your level goes up, you're gonna feel that difference. So when you hit like a level 20 Artificer handing out 25 versus handing out 13. So there'll be a bit of a difference. I don't know if an extra 13 hit points or whatever is gonna really feel massively different, but it is better. Okay, you can cast Celestial Restoration without expending a spell slot, without preparing the spell, providing you use Alchemist supplies as your tool. You can do so a number of times you go to your intelligence modifier, and you gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. No difference there. Same thing. Okay. So, all right. So we're seeing some little bumps here, right? Okay. 15th. You expose to so many chemicals. Let's see. Sorry, I was reading from the book. When you cast an artificial spell that deals acid, fire, necrotic, or poison, add 2d8 force damage to the target. Okay. You can use this benefit only once during each of your turns. You get resistance to acid and poison. And then when you can cast Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron without expending your spell slot, without preparing the spell, and without material components provided, you can use your action to apply the spell cast focus. You can only use that once per day. Okay. Whereas the old way used to be you just gain resistance to acid and poison, and you gain immunity to the poison condition. Okay, that's no longer a thing there. Alchemical Eruption no longer happens. Or that's new. I'm sorry, that's new. What do I mean no longer happens? That's new. It's a new damage boost once per round. Okay, so great. You get about an average of what? 4.5, so 9 force damage every given round, as long as you are using one of these damage types. And it works on the cantrips too, so that's great. And then Tasha Bubbling Cauldron obviously fits in with that. But you do lose the ability to cast Greater Restoration and Heal without expending a spell slot without preparing a spell. Okay, so now I got Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron, but we no longer get Heal and Greater Restoration. Okay, I need to go grab my book because I need to know what that spell does. Okay, got my Player's Handbook here. Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron, that's a newer spell, right? Does it say, it says that you don't need the material components, right? So that means you don't have to necessarily have your magic ladle or your crazy expensive ladle to do it. Yeah. Okay, so once per day. So we're losing heal, we're losing Greater Restoration. What we gain is a 10-minute cast spell. Yeah, because it doesn't reduce the time when you do it. So you gain the ability to 10 minutes create potions, common or uncommon potions of your choice. As a bonus action, you or an ally can reach into the cauldron and withdraw one potion of the kind. Number of these equal to your spell casting ability modifier. So tops is 5. So we're losing heal, we're losing Greater Restoration. We're getting a lot of versatility here, though, because we're going to gain the ability to create up to 5 uncommon potions per day for free, which is great. But on the other hand, it takes 10 minutes. This is something you have to do before you actually walk in, whereas the old way was, and let me just make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, the old way was you'd be able to, cast Heal, which is a phenomenal spell for healing, I'd say. So, man, I don't know. I don't know if I like that better or not. It puts the Artificer more in the planner rather than a reactor. So I guess that's good. Really, really keys into that intelligence portion, plan ahead. But you're going to lose the ability to get rid of a lot of things unless you plan ahead for it. So I don't know. That kind of depends on how that depends on what you wanted from the Artificer. I don't know what I think. I would prefer the heal, purely though from a high combat game. But I run a lot of combats. But on the other hand, this will be much more useful in other steers of play. So that's your trade-off there. Okay. But hey, you get more damage. So we definitely see a damage boost, although that's not really until level 15. So most characters aren't going to really reach that. So, well, it's somewhat better, I guess. But is it enough to launch it into the realm of a really good subclass? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at armor. Artificer specializes in armor, specializes in it's Iron Man, right? It's Iron Man, or I want to create a mech, right? Curious they let you make bigger versions now, but that's okay. What difference do we have? You can craft armor faster. Okay, that makes sense. That falls in line with what we saw on the Alchemist. Let me see. We've got this armor model includes a new armor option, Dreadnought. Okay, so we're going to see something. Oh, in the Guardian option, defensive field now relies on you being bloodied rather than just having limited uses. Okay. Armor modifications have been replaced by a new feature, Armor Replication. And then Perfected Armor now increases the damage of your Thunder Gauntlets and your Lightning Launchers. All right, excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So the trade, you gain proficiency in training in heavy armor. That makes sense. You gain proficiency in Smith's tools. Okay, if you already have those tool proficiency, you gain another type. Okay, great. And then whenever you craft non-magical or magic armor, the amount of time required to craft it is halved. So if you have a group, a party that has numerous armored warriors, hey, they're gonna love you as long as you can get some crafting downtime, right? So that's great. On the other hand, if you're playing in a group of all monks and spellcasters and a barbarian who really wants to pump up their constitution and dex instead of grabbing armor, they might not be so happy to see you. Okay, great. So let's see. Armor as persistent in Tasha's. Let's see here. Okay, so we get the benefit of being able to half time. That's great. Proficiency with heavy armor, that's the same. Specials, that's the same. Okay, great. New spells. The spell list is exactly the same. There's not a single bit of difference on the armor spell list. Hey, Wall of Force is still there. Love it. Okay, so not a single change. Okay, level 3, Arcane Armor. Okay, so as magic action, where you have Smith's tools in hand, you can create a suit of armor that you are wearing into Arcane Armor until you don another suit of armor, or until you die. Your armor failed you, right? You get the following benefits while wearing your Arcane Armor. No strength requirement. Okay, that's fine. You can don or doff the armor as a utilized action. Great. If the armor attaches to you, it can't be removed against your will, unless you're dead. Well, the negative, you have no will. Okay. It also expands for your entire body, although you can retract or deploy the helmet as a bonus action. You know, that Iron Man, hello, let me talk to you for a second. Back to Iron Man, right? The armor replaces missing limbs, functioning identically to a limb that it replaces. You can use Arcane Armor as a spellcasting focus for your Artificer tools. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at Arcane Armor. Arcane Armor used to get as an action. Okay, now it's a magic action. Smith tools in hand. Yep, that's the same. No strength requirement was gone. All right. So that's the same thing. You can use the armor as a spellcasting focus. They changed that. So no, I'm sorry. They just put it at the bottom. They put it at the bottom. Okay, put it at the bottom. All right. So you can still use your armor as your focus. So your crafting tool is your armor. That's a weird change. I've always thought that was kind of a weird change for artificers. Like if you build your armor, then your armor becomes your implement. It's just kind of odd to go. At level 3, you stop being a tool caster and you start being an armor guy. Okay, I mean that's fine. It's just I just always found it a little odd. Same thing with the helmet. Entire body replaces any missing limbs. Yep, that's the same. Don it off as an action. Okay, there's no change there. Okay. Armor model. This is where they said we should be seeing a change. We should be looking for Dreadnought here. So you can customize your Arcane Armor, choose one of the following models: Dreadnought, Guardian, or Infiltrator. The model that you choose gives you special benefits while you wear it. Each model includes a special weapon. When you attack with the weapon, you can add your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dexterity modifier to the attack and damage rolls. You can change the armor model whenever you finish a short or long rest if you have Smith tools in hand. Okay. That is the exact same. There's no change there other than the addition of the Dreadnought, like we were told. So, Dreadnought. What does Dreadnought do? You design your armor. So this is already net new. Okay, net new. So no comparison here. Dreadnought. You design your armor to become a towering juggernaut in battle. It has the following features: an iron ball on a chain appears on one of your armor gauntlets and has the following traits: simple melee for a D10 bludgeoning one-handed weapon. Okay, with a reach property. All right. Ooh, interesting though. Interesting as we look at that. No weapon mastery. So being a fighter / armor is going to let you get any sort of weapon mastery trait to that. So that's interesting that they did not include that. Okay. As a bonus action, you transform into larger armor for 1 minute. Okay, there you go. There it is. There's your enlargement. Enlarge your armor for 1 minute, though. Your reach increases by 5 feet. If you are smaller than large, you become large along with anything that you are wearing. If there's enough room for you to increase your size doesn't change. You can use this bonus action the number of times you go to your intelligence modifier and regain all offended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, great. So working at create the big neck, right? Wonderful. I'm not saying like Power Rangers, let's go, but large size rather than gargantuan, right? Wrecking Ball. If you have a creature that is at least one size smaller than you with a flail, you can push the creature up to 10 feet away from yourself or pull the creature up to 10 feet towards yourself. Okay, so that's basically the weapon mastery, but not called that, so it has nothing to do with it. So you can push or pull. Well, okay, so hold on here. Hold on. Reach, so already we're at a reach of 10. If you get large size, you now have a reach of 15. So, okay, you can pull them, but it's basically like, I want to pull them rather than move 15 feet. Okay, that's fine. Push and pull. I was a big fan of that during 4th edition, the force movement effect. So I always love seeing force movement effects here. What's interesting is there's no saving throw involved. You are just moving people around the battlefield. So that's cool. Okay. Guardian. Let's see here. What are we looking at for Guardian? Any difference here? Using armor to be on the front line of conflict. What was the Dreadnought? Each of the armor's gauntlets has the following traits: simple melee, 1d8 thunder, plus ability modifier for the use for the attack roll. Sure. Creature hit by the gauntlet has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you until you start your turn. Okay, yep. While you're blooded, you can take a bonus action and temporary hit points to go to your Artificer level. All right. You lose those temporary hit points if you doff the armor. Okay, so you can't just put it on, get temporary hit points, and walk away. What was the old way? D8 thunder damage on a hit. Yep, creature hit by the gauntlet has disadvantage on attack rolls other than you until the start of your next turn. Is that the same here? Yeah, that's the same. Okay, great. It no longer, as the armor magically emits a distracting pulse when the creature attacks someone else. So what's interesting about that is that it doesn't specifically say that a visual or auditory effect has been created like it did before, although I don't know how many people are keeping track of that. Defensive field, bonus action, yep. You had to be bloodied. It used to be that you had to do this a number of times to go to your proficiency modifier. Now you can just do it when you are bloodied. Okay, so yeah, they did talk about that change. So you can use it technically more times per day, infinite, as long as you stay bloodied. 4th edition used to have a lot of bloodied mechanics, the Dragonborn especially. I saw a number of players who would build their entire characters around the idea that they just stay bloodied, right? They're like my character runs headlong into battle. Okay, then they get to half their hit points, and then they become massive juggernauts that can't be defeated. And then clerics would walk around saying like, hey, you want healing? And the character's like, absolutely not. No, please let me stay in a constant state of horrific pain. So anytime I see a triggers when you're bloodied feature, that's immediately what I think of is are we accidentally stepping towards the please, I always want to be in constant pain. It's like, that's my fantasy, playing in constant pain, right? Great. Infiltrator. Okay, what do we see for Infiltrator? I don't think they mentioned any difference, but simple ranged weapon, 1d6 lightning, plus ability modifier, 90, 300 feet, considered a thrown weapon, so you can use strength if you really want to, but once during each of your turns, you hand a creature the lightning launcher, you can deal 1d6 extra lightning damage. So damage boost, okay. Speed increased by 5 feet, and you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. If the armor normally imposes advantage on such checks, the advantage and disadvantage cancel each other as normal. Okay, so, you know what's interesting is that the Guardian, hold on here. Did I read that right? Gaining proficiency in heavy armor. Is that, so my brain immediately forgot what I said. So Dreadnought, the heavy armor is outside of this, right? It's outside of the class, but you just get heavy armor, right? Yeah. So you can be an infiltrator with heavy armor. Sure. Okay, right. That's always been the thing. Okay, Gym Black Node, 3 range, 90/300. Yep, 1d6. Yep. Once during your turn, deal an extra 1d6 damage. Great. And increase speed by 5 feet, and then advantage on dexterity checks, and then okay. So there's no difference to Infiltrator. All right, great. Extra attack. Yep, extra attack is still gained on the 5. No change. Okay, so armor replication. You learn an additional plan for your replicate magic item feature. It must be in the armor category. If you replace that plan, you must replace it with another armor plan. In addition, you can create an additional item with that feature, and the item must also be in the armor category. Okay, so I expected to start seeing some of this, right? I think I mentioned this before. We got less plans than we used to, but I expected the subclasses would start giving us more. So let's see what we used to get at level 9. We used to get armor modifications. You learn how to use your Artificer infusions to specifically modify your arcane armor. The armor now counts as separate items for the purposes of your infused item features. Armor, the chest piece, boots, boots, helmet, and the Artificer special weapon. Each of these items can bear one of your infusions, and the infusions now transfer over if you change your armor's model with the armor model feature. In addition, the maximum number of items you can infuse at once increases by 2, but these extra items must be part of your arcane armor. Okay. This basically just replaces some kind of confusing wording with just you get another plan, has to be in the armor category. More interestingly enough is that you don't have to. You can just try. None of this says that it has to be your armor. It doesn't say that at all. So you can still be helping other people's armor, rather than only being able to boost yourself. So the class goes from being less center focused and has the ability now to give that to others. So, okay, I'm good with that. Perfected armor. Let's see. The capstone, right? The final benefit of this subclass. Damage die of your armor flail increases to 2d6, so you have basically a maul in your hand. When you use your giant statue, and you now go up to huge size. Okay, now we're at the Power Rangers droid here, but only for a brief period of time. That's great. And you gain a fly speed, so okay, cool. All right, sure, why not? I'm not sure what Dreadnought is doing, like what it's really adding to the conversation other than size benefits, right? Guardian was like kind of playing that old, the soldier role, defender role from 4th edition. Infiltrator makes you more of a moving around damage dealer, and Dreadnought just says, you're gonna get bigger and you're gonna fly and you're gonna do more base damage, but it's gonna be bludgeoning specific type. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's a great addition. If it's a really meaningful addition compared to the rest, but I'm sure there will be a lot of people happy with it. I'm not unhappy with it. It's just, I guess I don't know. I was kind of looking for something a little bit more, like here's what your role is, other than just get big and then fly. I don't know, because all the other ones can fly anyway, right? You can cast fly, but that's okay, whatever. Guardian, damage of your Thunder Gauntlets increases to 1d10 Thunder damage, which is an update. The old Guardian did not get a damage boost to their to the beast. Whenever a huge smaller creature enters turn within 30 feet of you, to your reaction, a magically force a creature make a saving throw against your spell. CM must save. Pull them 25 feet directly to an unoccupied space. If you pull the target to a space within 5 feet of yourself, you make a melee weapon attack against it. So basically, they get the Guardian has gotten the Dreadnought ability the entire time, because this isn't new. Although it specifically says, this isn't new at all. It's just now by creating the Dreadnought with their push-pull effect at lower levels, we've effectively created overlap now between late-stage Guardian or early-stage Dreadnought. So I guess there's the Dreadnought. The thing is like, hey, if you really like that Guardian force movement thing, you can have it immediately a Dreadnought, right? Okay. It's actually interesting then now to think about the fact that, I guess Dreadnought does increase their push-pull ability because they get even bigger reach. So, okay. All right. Failed save, you pull a creature. Yeah. There's no difference. Reaction over time is equal to your intelligence modifier. It used to be proficiency bonus. Now it's intelligence modifier. So, interesting. Okay. Infiltrator, damage dice of your lightning launch order increases to 2d6. That's new. Okay. And then any creature that you hit with sheds dim light, has disadvantage on attack rolls against you as the lightning jolts it if it attacks you. What it used to be is next attack roll has advantage. Okay, so it used to be that it functioned more like Fairy Fire, right, where you'd get advantage against the glimmering creature. Now it's saying that no, hold on. The glimmering creature, so there's no difference in the disadvantage part. We no longer gain advantage, because it used to be that in addition to the next attack roll against it has advantage, and if the attack hits, they take an extra 1d6. They just immediately baked in the 1d6 into it, so it's always dealing an extra 1d6 rather than having to hit and then somebody else gets the extra d6, and that just gives it to you. But you no longer gain advantage on your next attack range. Okay, that's the change. So they buff nerfed it, right? They made one part better, one part worse. Okay, great. So armor, a lot more utility, a new option, and some minor changes. Increased damage on Guardian, and Infiltrators no longer as tied to a specific condition. Okay, armor. Artificer specializes. No, I just did armor. Darn you, page moving around. Artillerist. Oh, I always love the Artillerist. What do we got? Some very small changes. Allows your Artificer to craft magic wands faster. Yep, kind of expected that. Now allows each cannon to use the flamethrower, force ballista, and protector options. Okay. Now detonates, force cannon now detonates as a reaction instead of an action, and its damage has been increased. Okay, great. Let's take a look at this. So tool proficiency, woodcarver's tool, same thing as before. And when you craft a magic wand, the amount of time to craft is half. I'm actually kind of surprised that we aren't seeing wands, rods, and staves. Are we saving rods and staves for a different type of artificer, or are we like, what are we doing here? Why not just have all of them in there? Okay, but sure, just wands. Yeah, just wands. All right. I guess that was kind of the case, right? It was like they're kind of the wand caster. All wands were, one-handed. Effectively, this is effectively your arcane gun shooter, right? Spells: Shield, Thunder Waves, Scorching Ray, Shatter, Fireball, Wind Wall. No difference there. Bluff. Sorry, keep missing this. Ice Storm, Wall of Fire. Kind of cold, Wall of Force. Okay, yeah. So hey, Wall of Force, but then also just blasty. All right. Using wood cards or smith's tools. Oh, okay. So I can make metal wands, right? I get why do they get the smith's tools? They don't gain proficiency in the smith's tools. Like why have that difference? Like why give them the whatever? Okay. I guess it's for the people who say I really want to make guns in D&D, but why not just give them smith tools, right? Why not just do that then? Okay. You can make a magic item greater to smaller tiny which claim and pace 5 feet. Yeah, it's just disappear below. You determine its appearance, which includes in your choice of legs or wheels. If it disappears after 1 hour, you can dismiss it early as a magic action. Once you create a cannon, you can't do so again until you finish the long rest, or expend a spell slot to create a new one. You can only have one cannon at a time and can't create one while your cannon is present. Okay, so there's no, I don't believe there's a difference there, but let me, certainly significantly less paragraphs. That's because the old one didn't include a stat block. The old one was just, here's a 4-paragraph explanation trying to explain what a stat block is, rather than just giving us a stat block. Okay. Yeah, same thing. It used to be woodcarver's tools, smith's tools. I thought it was weird then. I think it's weird now. Once you can't do so again, doing for this long rest, when a new spell slots cabling, I have one can time to create one where you can't present. Yep, same thing. The cannon's a magical object. Okay, so I guess it's no longer a magical object. It's a magical object. Regardless of the size, the cannon has an AC of 18, so that's the same. Hit points 5 times your artificer level. That's the same. Mending resource 2d6. Yep, that's the same. Poison damage and psychic damage immunity. Yep, that's no different. Activate cannon requires you to be within 60 feet of the cannon. It's bonus action over the cannon to use the flamethrower, force ballista, or protector option below. You can direct the cannon to move up to 15 feet before or after that option. Let me see here. Bonus action 60 old ways, bonus action 60 feet, move 50 feet, and yeah, so that's exactly what the change is, right? It used to be that when you created your cannon, you had to choose one of those options, and for the entirety of the time, it does that. This is saying you now have a constantly changing one. I mean, it's better. It is good. I don't know if I love the fiction of that, right? Like, here's my all-in-one, my all-in-one shooter, I guess. But that's fine. Like, I get it. More utility, I'm never going to complain, even if I don't necessarily love the fiction of it, but this is just a gut reaction. So, for me, like, put it in a different mode, right? Or screwdriver or whatever. Okay, let's take a look at the options. Are they any different? So 15-foot cone, it used to be 15-foot cone, dexterity saving throw, 2d8 fire damage. Now it's 50-foot cone, 2d8 fire. Okay, same thing. Start burning. So we got the start burning thing. So that's slightly different. Force ballista. This is the one I use the most. Chew. Ranged attack at 120 feet. Used to be 2d8. Yep, 2d8, and then pushes 5 feet. Okay, great. Yep. Okay. So pew. All right, and then this. Oh, you know what's interesting to me, by the way? Side note. No, never mind. Objects. So only flammable objects take damage in the cone. They don't. That objects that aren't typically considered flammable do not go. So, like for instance, you can't use the flamethrower to get through a stone wall, which makes sense. I'm all for that. So, just always thought that was kind of fun. Protector, gain temporary hit points 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier is the old way. The new way is gain temporary hit points. Yep, same thing. Okay. Yep, that's all the same. Just more versatility. Great. Level 5, Arcane Firearm. When you finish long rest, you can move carve tools, 2 carve special tools into a rod staff or one. Now you can do rod staffs or wands, right? So look at this. Again, this is so weird to me. You get better creation for wands, right? You can make wands faster, but you can't make staves or rods faster. But later they acknowledge that you are, in fact, the rod, staff / wand firearm. So we need to definitely, there's a change that needs to happen, in my opinion. It's update the craft magic wand to include staves and rods. Okay. Turn to your arcane firearms. The sigils disappear from the object to be carved in different items. You can use your arcane firearm as a spell casting focus for your spells. Whenever you cast an artificer spell through the firearm, add a D8 and you gain a bonus to spell damage equal to the number rolled. Great. The old way is same thing. Long rest, use woodcut tool, same thing. Spellcasting implement, when you cast, roll a D8 and add that. Okay, so there's really no difference there. That is the exact same as it used to work. I'm pretty sure they didn't mention a change. I'm just forgetting everything I said 20 seconds ago, 3 minutes ago. Explosive cannon, this is where they said that we're going to see a change here. So let's take a look at explosive cannon. When your cannon is reduced to 0 hit points, you can take a reaction to command the cannon to detonate if you are within 60 feet of it. Doing so destroys the cannon and forces the creature to take 3d10 force damage after a dexterity saving throw, or half as much on a successful one. The old way was an action. So you had to hope that, if your thing is being attacked, if your wand is in people mode and is being attacked, you hope that on your next turn you have to burn your own action to make it explode. This is the big boost. This is a great boost in damage. It allows you to turn a liability into a strength, like the cannon's being attacked and it's about to go down. You don't have to hope the cannon is still in place. You can just go, okay, just got taken down, reaction, go. Now, you do lose the ability to do it as an action. So the one downside of this is that if you wanted your little mobile bomb, you have to hope somebody attacks it to be able to use this ability. So I do think it's interesting that it's better, I guess. It's going to be a damage boost for sure. It doesn't eat up your action in combat, so it gives you, kind of a fail-safe. But we lose some of the fiction there, some of the interesting things that some people might have done, which is, had their little symbol wielding ape bot that's going into a enemy stronghold, with a little creepy song singing and then exploding, right? Now they have to be hit. So I would prefer to see that with both options, but that's just for me. Okay. Fortified position. You now have 2 cannons at the same time. That's no different. I can do 2 with the same magic action, but not the same spell slot. I can activate both of them with the same bonus action, ordering them to use the same activation for different ones. Okay, great. You can't create a third while you have 2. Great. So how about you just say you can't create a third? That's the same wording as before. Also, you gain half cover within 10 feet. Okay, that's basically the exact same. No difference. All right. Cool, I guess. I want some more changes to that, as I just mentioned. It's always been a great Artificer option. I've always loved it. Very much Eberron Wandslinger, right? I don't know if I love the change. I love some of the changes, but I also would like to see a little bit another step taken a little bit further, right? Having a stat block is great. Thank you for making that a stat block, because it was really annoying to try to read through multiple paragraphs, trying to figure it out when I could just look at the stat block and go, oh, that is how that works. Okay, let's take a look now at the Battlesmith. This is the last of the last of the options here. Battlesmith has been a common option. It is your intelligence attack using warrior artificer standard. It's the weapon master rather than the armor master. The armorer is, right? Okay. Command a construct guardian. Oh, that's right. They also have the pet. I always forget they had the little pet, but I always saw them as the weapon master. But yeah, they had a pet. The little robo pet, robo dog. Now I'm thinking of Robot Dog by MC Chris, right? Anybody? That's a weird reference. Okay. Battlesmith. Let's see what we got. Let's take a look at what the updates are. They're going to give us very limited. Craft weapon faster. The Steel Defender has more HP and force empowered when adjusted. Okay, great. So, you have proficiency in pistols. Makes sense. If you already have this proficiency, you get proficiency in the other types. You catch an ordinary or magic weapon. Amount of time is halved. Okay, so excellent. That's exactly what I expected to see. Okay, great. So, Battlesmith spells. Same, no difference there. Yeah, okay, it's all there. So no change. Okay, it's a decent lesson. It's got shield, right? So what do you do? Say no to shield, you fool. Combat training, battle ready. Okay, let's see here. A couple of things I'm hoping to see here, but let's find out. Experiments with magic have paid off in two ways. When you gain an attack with magic weapons, you can use the intelligence modifier to strength or dexterity. That makes sense. That's right in there. And you gain proficiency with martial weapons. I was hoping there's no change there, but I was hoping to see weapon mastery. I was hoping that we'd be able to see an artificer who spends all that time with weapons and knowing how they work. I expected them to get weapon mastery properties. So little surprised and a little disappointed to see that that's not there. All right, Steel Defender, right? You get a little bitey boy, as I like to call him, little bitey boy. And we have a stat block. We had a stat block before, so that's nice. Bonus action to use. This is, I think, the Artificer where they really started to make the pets work properly, like where they started to create the standard for bonus action pet usage, right? That's great. And then stat blocks that kind of key off of certain abilities that you have. I think the Artificer is when we started to see that that standard, and we're seeing it still continued to this day. So. In combat, the defender action in your turn, it can move, take a reaction on its own. The only action it takes is dodge action, which you take a bonus action to command. That is the same. Yep, that's the same. No difference. Okay. 2 legs or 4 you choose. Okay, that's the same. You don't have to choose robot dog. Just the picture always had a robot dog, and I always think about robot dog. Okay. Restore or replace the defender if the defender has died within the last hour. You get a magic action to touch it and expend a spell slot. Returns to life after 1 minute. Sure. Now, what's weird to me here is, I'm going to show you something that's kind of weird to me, right? So, your little robot cannon, you can heal with mending. Your robot defender, you can't. So, they sort of imply that mending is you can fix robots with mending, except only this specific type of robot, not the other. So I think it's kind of weird that they make that choice. I'm looking at that stat block right now, it doesn't mention mending at all. So I think that it kind of breaks me on that. It makes me not really like the mending capability for others. It's like, it's like the game is always trying to remember, like back in 3.0. Mending was a level 1 spell, not a cantrip, and it healed a specific amount of hit points. And it was great for if you had a Warforged in your party, because Warforged could use it to heal up, especially in like the Mornland, where healing wouldn't work, but mending always would. When mending became a cantrip, it made role playing with mending a lot easier. You know, hey, you fixed a little rip in your shirt, that's great, but then we're starting to see the problem when it comes to constructs, like how a cantrip, unlimited healing, affects constructs. So as a result, we're getting this sort of where they can't really decide what they want to do with it. Like should mending replace heal constructs, or should it not? And so this is somewhat disjointed to me. Steel Defender used to be 2 hit points plus your intelligence modifier plus 5 times your Artificer level. Now it is just 5 plus 5 times your Artificer level. Okay, that's actually less hit points, right? Because you don't get to add your intelligence modifier anymore. So they're just going to go with after 3. Okay. All right, so technically, your Steel Defender has less hit points, right? Is that a change that they had mentioned? Yeah, it has HP adjusted. So yeah, the HP, the math is a little easier, I suppose, because you don't have an extra plus something, but it will boil down to less hit points, right? In the long run. Immunities, they don't lose, sorry, I don't know why I said lose, but blah, languages understand, there's no changes there. Steel Bond adds your proficiency to any ability check or saving throw that the defender makes, sure, why not? It doesn't have the can't be surprised trait anymore. Although surprise is now different. Surprise just gives you advantage on your attack roll, but so I guess because it doesn't roll initiative, that makes sense. Right, although I'm kind of wondering why it doesn't give you an ability you can't be surprised anymore, right? But okay, sure, they got rid of that. Spell attack modifier 1d8 plus 2, 1d8 plus 2 plus intelligence modifier force damage, which is okay. So it gets a little bit more damage, so less hit points, technically speaking, a little more damage. Great. Okay, so sure. Repair, that's the same. 3 times a day, you can just heal itself. Great. Okay. But you can tell it to heal itself. Hey, you, heal yourself. Reaction to deflect attack. That is the same, right? Within 5 feet. Creature defender within 5 feet makes an attack roll targeting a different creature. So it has to be within 5 feet of the enemy. Then defender. Yeah, that's the same. Okay, great. Provided that the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender. Oh, so it can't use it. It can't use it on itself. So they changed their wording, but targeting a different creature. Yeah. Okay. Extra attack, same thing. Great. Arcane Jolt. You target with a attack roll using a magic weapon, and you still defender hits target. You can channel magical energy through the strike to create one of the following effects. So you can either add 2d6 damage to using a magic weapon or a still defender, add 2d6 damage, or choose a creature and they heal 2d6. Use this number of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier, but no more than once per turn. Okay, and the old rule, I think it's about the same, right? Either 2d6 extra damage, magic weapon, or steel defender. Yep. No more than once per turn. Long rest replenishes that, and then healing is it's all the same. One creature or object, right? But you can also do that. Never mind. Okay, improved defender. Arcane Jolt and defender become more powerful. Arcane Jolt goes to 4d6 rather than 2d6. And then Steel Defender gains a +2 bonus to armor class. Armor class of 17. Whenever your Steel Defender uses deflect attack, the attacker takes force damage equal to 1d4 plus your intelligence modifier. Okay, so great. What do we see now? 46, yep. +2, yep. 1d4, yep. No difference. All the things. Great. Okay, so get a few math tweaks. Basically, what I feel like we're seeing here is a couple of like tiny math tweaks there. More damage, less hit points, potentially less hit points. And yeah, what am I not seeing here? I feel like there's something I wish I would have seen here. I think I already mentioned that just that mending thing is weird to me. Okay, great. There's a new spell. So it used to be that Homunculus, right? So there's a new spell called Homunculus Servant, and it used to be that Homunculus was a ability that you would take as your like Artificer infusions, right? Well, so since infusions have gone to be magical items, it makes sense that they would now turn this into a spell only for the Artificer, rather than making a homunculus item that anybody could have. Otherwise, so basically they removed it from the infusion list, which everybody was taking it anyway, or a lot of people were, because it's basically like a beefed up Find Familiar, and they now turned it into a spell. Okay, now it's a spell. It's basically, I'm looking here already, I can see that this is basically a Find Familiar spell, but potentially beefed up. But we should take a look at this to see how it compares, because I'm wondering if this is a spell that's, like worth your time. So right off the bat, we see that it's a level 2 spell, so it already takes up a higher slot than Find Familiar. And if I'm not mistaken, the new Artificer does not get Find Familiar at all. I don't think they previously did anyway, but no Find Familiar. But it used to be that you could get the Homunculus Infusion at level, as soon as you can get infusions, right? So it used to be that you could get that at level, 2? Yeah, 2, right? So essentially have a Homunculus Servant at level 2, assuming you have the money. But now it's a level 2 spell, so we have pushed back the ability to get the Homunculus up until level 5. So you can't even get access to this until level 5. So that's already a big change. You cannot use this until level 5. Okay, sure. That sucks a little bit. So while all the others are having your wizards and sorcerers and warlocks and such are having Find Familiar shenanigans, you don't get to do that until level 5. Okay. Sure, I guess. But okay, so right off the bat, that's a big downgrade, I suppose. Now let's take a look. 1 hour ritual, which is I'm comparing this to Find Familiar. I mean, I know they're not the same spells, but it's I feel like this is like the comparable thing, right? Is waiting until 5th level rather than the second? Are we going to see a worth the change, or is this necessary because it's too powerful? What's going on? Casting time, 1 hour ritual, so that's the same, 10 feet. Yep, it is much more expensive than Find Familiar, which was 10, but it's the same expensive that Homunculus was in the first place. So I'm trying to compare it to Find Familiar. I'm also comparing it to the old Homunculus ability. So price is the same, all that's the same. Gem or crystal worth 100 gold pieces, but now it says that gem crystal with 100 gold piece plus. So you can, if your GM goes, ha ha ha, here's a 101 gold piece, gemstone, what are you gonna do, sucker? Okay, great. Summon a special homunculus within range. Homunculus stat block for the homunculus for the spell. This replaces a new one. You determine the homunculus' appearance. This is a mechanical working bird, wing battles for sure. That's all just flavor. Combat, it's an ally to you and your allies. It shares your initiative. It takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your commands. So battlesmiths are getting 2 pets, by the way. They use the spell. 2 freaking pets. There's no duration, so I think it lasts until it dies. If you don't take any, it takes a dodge action, use its movement, but otherwise, actions immediately breaks the companion rule and says action is no action. So, okay. Use the spell slot for the spell's level on the stat block. Okay, so if you use a higher level spell, then it changes its stats. Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of like, I think we've seen that a little bit in the, in a lot of the new conjure creature spells. So let's take a look here at the old stat block and the new stat block, and maybe take a look at a familiar stat block. I'm gonna just go ahead and pull up this familiar stat block. We're gonna go ahead and use a owl. Owls are common, right? Owls are a thing. Okay, what do we get? Okay, so AC of 13, better than the owl, right? But compared to the old homunculus, it is the same. Okay, so no change there. HP is 5 plus 5 per spell level, whereas it used to be 1 plus your intelligence modifier plus your artificer level. So it used to be so it used to rise no matter what. Now you're gonna get a kind of more of a swing, right? Of depending on how powerful of a spell. But it's going to cap out at 5 because that's as high as a artificer can cast it. Or if you really want to, I guess you can take 5 levels of artificer, grab the spell, turn around, and then take all the rest in like wizard if you really want to cast this at a higher level or something. But okay, speed 20 feet, 30 feet fly. Hey, way more hit points than the owl's 1. So there you go. It's already beefier. Okay. Strength, dex, con, intelligence, charisma. Dex, con, intelligence, charisma. That stats remain the same. Better than the owl, I guess, across the board. It only has a positive in dexterity and wisdom. So I guess there you go. Everything else is negative. Immunities, poison, exhaustion, poison. Same thing. 6 feet dark vision. That is no difference. Passive perception is it's flat 10 now. Doesn't matter what spell you have. Doesn't matter your proficiency anymore. Nothing. It's just passive perception 10 done. Okay, so one less math thing to do, but it's not going to be your lookout, right? Whereas, hey, the owl is going to kick ass there, right? Languages, telepathy, 1 mile. Used to be just that they could understand you. Now you can speak with it telepathically. Okay, that's cool. It can't understand anything anybody else says, though. Notice how it doesn't say it understands the languages you speak. It purely can speak telepathically with you, and that's the end of story. If your ally, like, finds your homunculus, like, wandering around, they can't converse with it at all. Okay, so that's an interesting change. Challenge rating makes sense. There's no challenge rating. You shouldn't get experience points based on killing somebody else's spell. Evasion, we get to keep the evasion trait magic bond at the spell level to any ability check or saving that the homunculus makes. That's not in the stat block for homunculus, but was that in the ability for the stat block to do? The old homunculus, you used to use your bonus action, did it, right? Yeah, so the new one can be commanded without an action at all. So this is going to be great for homunculus lovers, terrible for people who don't want to see 4 pets running around the table at every single turn. Ugh, okay. Sorry, like when one character has now access to 3 characters, right? So let's say you're a battlesmith, you got your robot dog, you got your homunculus, and you got yourself, right? And then find familiar. Oh man, hold on. Did they create the problem? Hold on. Does find familiar require an action? Find familiar. Spells is a bonus action to through their thing. When does it act? Okay. I'm sorry. Right now, imagining somebody takes like magic initiative feat and grabs find familiar. Then they have the homunculus at level 5. Then they have the battlesmith, the little defender. It's like cool. Now you got one character, 4 separate characters that they are running, right? their own character, their defender, their familiar, and their homunculus. Ugh. Okay, at least the bonus action to like force protection like would like limit how much you could do that. This, dang it. I mean, it's better, but to me, I'm already annoyed. Okay. Force strike damage used to be 1d4 plus proficiency. Now it is 1d6 plus the spell's level. So it could be better or worse, right? Depending on what spell level you put in. Reaction, channel magic, cast spell as rate of touch with a helicopter about 120 feet of you, delivers a spell through touch. You can speak telepathically up to 1 mile, but you only get the special ability up to 120 feet, which is the same. So, okay, great. It's a little scout. It's a little scout that can't hide very well. You used to be. Oh yeah, you used to have the stealth skill, right? You used to have stealth skill, 2 plus proficiency bonus. You don't get that anymore. No. Magic bond. Magic bond gives that. Never mind. Magic bond just says across the board, not specific skills or ability. I'm sorry, ability checks or saving those get your proficiency bonus. Now says the spell level is just added across the board to everything. I prefer the proficiency bonus, but it's fine if they don't, I guess. It's just, okay. All right, so is that better? I don't know. I mean, I guess it is better than Divine Familiar. It depends on what you want to do with it, right? It's damage dealing, whereas your Familiar can't normally do that. Just waiting till level 5 to get this that hurts. That hurts quite a bit, I would say. But on the other hand, hey, if you're playing a battlesmith, you gotta get used to controlling your 2 characters for at least, level 3 and 4 before you add your 3rd character on there, assuming you didn't go and grab a familiar. So, okay, homunculus, interesting. Okay, let's see. New magic items. The magic items here presented as artificial infusions and intelligence column of everything as magic items. Yep, they just took that's exactly what I thought they would do. Okay, it's exactly what I thought would happen. They took the magic items that were specifically artificer abilities and just made them items. And now anybody can use them. Enhanced arcane focus, infusion, +1 wand of the war mage. Sure, instead of enhanced defense, you get +1 armor or shield. Enhanced weapon. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what I thought would happen. Mind Sharpener is now a magic ring rather than infusion that would be going onto armors or ropes. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much to say other than that's like exactly what I thought would happen, is that these abilities would just become items. So anybody can have them now. Totally anybody can. So hey, a little boost. That's kind of nice. I guess it's kind of nice in the sense that like the Artificer, whenever the Artificer create their own magic item, when the infusion ability let Artificer do things that nobody else could, that was great in terms of the identity of the class. The problem was, it's like, but they couldn't make it permanent, right? They could never figure out how to make that repeating shot crossbow like stick, right? And that always kind of like broke the fiction for me a little bit. Like no matter how good you got, you always had to be right there to make it happen every day for the rest of your life, right? Now it's like, okay, hey, this one they can just make. And, maybe you choose in your campaigns only they can make it, maybe you don't, but I do think I'm not upset with that change. I guess is what I'm saying. It takes away some of the identity, sure. You could argue that, but I think it also gives you something that, I thought Artificer should have been able to do in the first place. That's my own thought. Is repeating shot the same as it used to be? +1 weapon to attack and damage rolls. It's uncommon. I guess that requires 2 mint. Sure. If the weapon lacks ammunition, it produces its own automatically created 1 piece of ammunition attack roll. It's creates ammunition, right? Okay, yeah, that's about the same. Repulsion shield 4 charges to push people back. That's great. Push back up and hit you. That's the same. Yeah, I don't want to go through all of these. I guess I should, but I don't really want to. I just want to see if the power levels have remained about the same. I always love the Mind Sharpener, right? Which is the maintain a concentration saving throw. Now anybody can get this item if you want to. That's cool. Actually, I'm not upset with that. I always like the Mind Sharpener ability. Okay, great. So the reaction, touches just succeed. Yeah, same thing. Great. Okay, that's it. A lot of changes to the Artificer. Not quite as drastic as we saw with some other classes, although that infused item ability has very much changed, but I think it's now more in line with like, it's going to be easier to onboard if players already understand magic items, then it's going to be easier to onboard into this new Artificer rather than saying, let's talk about infusions instead. We saw some changes to the subclasses. We saw some power boosts kind of across the board in certain areas. We saw some increased versatility. I don't know if we saw enough. I'm not so sure about the whole infused items, the plans being lessened, right? Like now you have less versatility in certain cases in the long run. But on the other hand, I think we have gained massive versatility in the fact that they future-proofed how magic items are created by the Artificer when they said, instead of saying, here's your set list of what you can do, they said, you can create one of common or uncommon or rare. And I think that was a really good idea to future-proof itself, because it always bothers me when when the older Artificer would present a set list of here are the magic items you can make, and that any time a new book would come out with new magic items, you'd have to have a player, walk up to the DM and basically beg to see if they could get the new items added to their list, right? And the DM has to go through their like, hey, is this going to be balanced? Is it fair? I don't know. I gotta, there's a reason why they didn't put all the items on there. There's a reason probably why they did put some of these items on here. I think it's better across the board just to let them have it all, right? Put your stamp of approval on balance there and say, hey, all of our rare items are in fact supposed to be about the same level. It probably won't be the case. There's so many different kinds, but I like that. It just made it a lot easier in that sense. And I think it's great that again, future-proof. Your player goes out, gets Player's Handbook 3, or whatever, and it's filled with magic items, and then you have to, it eliminates that argument, right? The DM can go through and ban things that they like, but the player doesn't have to on every single one come through and beg for them, right? So that's a quality of life improvement to me. I am happy with that. So that's the new Artificer. That was a lot of talking. There's a lot of me going through this. I'm not sure if anybody made it this far, but if you did, cool. Thanks for going through that with me. I had some fun, and I look forward to trying this out on my table. I got a couple players who I know are really big into the Artificer, and who are going to be really excited to see if these changes create a better play experience or not. And then, of course, on December 24th, I believe it is. Let me check the document. On December 24th, they want the feedback. So I'm going to make sure that if we do play test it, feedback survey opens up on December 24th. So, go through it, take a look at it, gather your thoughts. I highly recommend you do not immediately just listen to one person on Reddit who says, this is broken forever, but isn't for any good reason, like really look at it yourself. Come up with what you think about it, and then offer your thoughts to Wizards. If you want to see the changes made, that's what those feedback surveys are for. Good. Hey, that's it. That's all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you all next time.